You're welcome to the show. Let's get on with the details now. Now, this afternoon, the General Secretary of the NDC, Asiedu Nketia, is my guest on the pulse. He secured re-election as General Secretary barely 3 weeks ago in a hot contest with his deputy, Koku Anyedoho. The margin of victory was overwhelmingly wide, confirming his superiority, if you like, as perhaps the best party secretary in Ghana so far. But it isn't his recent victory or his exploit that is making the headlines today. It is the fixing of filing fees at 400,000 cedis for candidates seeking to lead the NDC into the 2020 election. That is now breaking the trends. Today, he's here with me, and you can ask him any question on your mind. You send it to our WhatsApp number 050-564-6330. And also, we're taking your questions on Facebook as well. We'll go on to that. And Asiedu Nketia is already in the studio. But first, let me remind you of what he's been saying as far as the money, the amounts they're charging is concerned.
Please, how much is too much? Can you tell us how much is too much? Nobody knows. What are you comparing with? So far, the questioner doesn't appear to give us the comparison. But let me tell you, when we say that there are hardship, it means cost of living is high. But somebody must pay the cost of running the elections. Who is going to pay? I have not declared to be a presidential candidate. So those who have declared to be presidential candidates must pay the cost. Yes. Yes. So, and if you compare these monies against the cost of organizing the activity we are talking about, you see that the party will still have to raise money to supplement whatever will be accruing from these filing fees. So I don't see how anybody can say that it is. If you want to compare us to MPP 3 years ago were charging 500,000. We were all with you here in this country. Did you complain? And 3 years on, we are charging 400. And you still say ours is too high. In fact, when we talk about social democracy, it is not equivalent to poverty. You see, many people have some wrong understanding of what social democracy is all about. Social democracy is not poverty. Social democracy means that the market must work. The productive forces in the economy must be released to achieve their potential.
Achieving their potential. Well, I have the man here in the studio with me, and we'll be getting to him so we can explain or get some explanation further. But you know that already there's been some of the that fee is being challenged by a number of persons, including some of the candidates who have even planned a meeting this afternoon to present a common petition to founder of the party, Jerry John Rawlings. One of them, Eko Spio Gabra, has been speaking for us, as well as spokesperson, speaking to us, as well as a spokesperson of the Joshua Alabi campaign team, Richard Kwashiga.
Well, I think most Ghanaians feel that the fees proposed by our National Executive Committee are out of line with the history, the philosophy, and the values of the National Democratic Congress. I think that's what is important. It is the history, the values, and the philosophy of the National Democratic Congress that is in question, because we have described ourselves as a social democratic party, which most people understand to mean we are a party that is concerned about the challenges facing the downtrodden, the poor in society, and a party that will normally take the appropriate measures to protect the interests of the poorer members of our society. Now we have an opponent called the New Patriotic Party, NPP, who have introduced something called a free senior high school system, where even the children of rich people are having their school fees paid for. And the finance minister has, for example, come out and said, why are we paying the children of wealthy people's school fees? Newspaper Daily Graphic had a conference recently where people were asked, if you had to pay your own children's school fees, will you be willing to pay? And I think 80 or 90% of the people in the room reportedly raised their hands. So we are in a competition with another party which is trying very hard to show that it is closer to poor people and even willing to pay for the school fees of rich people. And then we come out as a Social Democratic Party to charge a filing fee just to lead the party that may not be the kind of fee that even European political parties will charge their leaders. So somebody should do some research, those who are interested in such matters. Find out in Spain, in Germany, in Norway and Finland, or in Israel, or in Japan, or Malaysia, if you want to be a leader of your party, what kind of fees do you pay, even in the United States? And then we can see whether what we are doing in Ghana makes sense at all, because the fees we are paying, whatever fees you pay, whether rent, whether school fees, whether a taxi fare, has to be related to something. And that something is usually the per capita income of the country. What does the average person earn in that country? When you look at what the average person earns, then you can set your school fees accordingly, even if the costs are higher than what people should pay. You then find a way to subsidize the cost. The health sector, what are the fees people should pay? If it's higher, you find a way to make it easy for them through a national health insurance scheme. So if that is what you're going to do in government to help people, and most tenants would wish governments will come with policies that will protect the average tenant from having to pay 2 years rent in advance, 1 year's rent in advance, and so forth. So if that's the country we are in, when you then establish a 400,000 CD fee for your flag bearer, you are distorting the arguments and the perception of the general public, because they then wonder, oh, NDC, so if we vote for you and you come to power, are you going to start imposing certain kinds of fees on us? Already, MPP are imposing all kinds of taxes on us. If you have a car that is more than 3.00 cc, you must come and pay extra money when it's roadworthy next time. If you have a salary of more than 10,000 and now they've changed it to 20,000, you must come and pay extra money. If you bring goods to the harbor, you must pay extra money. This is what the average Ghanaian is going through right now, which makes them very unhappy about the MPP. Now they're looking to the NDC to come and give them a somewhat different kind of government, a government that will be more sympathetic, a government that will be more understanding of the poor plight of the average Ghanaian. But if that same party that Ghanaians are looking forward to come to save them already begins to show signs at an early stage, even before the contest, that even within our own party, we start charging people exorbitant fees for something no more than being a party leader, then we raise questions in the minds of the average Ghanaian. And as far as equity and fairness is concerned, if the issue was raising money for the party, because the party has financial difficulty, why didn't we start raising it when we were asking people to stand for branch elections, for constituency elections, for regional elections, and even for national elections? For the National Delegates Congress, which ended only recently at the trade fair site, the chairman, the most senior position in the party, paid 10,000 cedis. The general secretary, who is the chief executive officer of the party, and therefore the most important day-to-day member of the party, paid 8,000 cedis. And I believe other party positions were 5,000 cedis and below. Regional chairman, I think, paid only 5,000 cedis. So what has happened in NDC in just 2 weeks? Between the time all these officers paid these amounts, who are also members of the National Executive Committee, they didn't charge themselves 50,000 cedis or 100,000 cedis. But when it came to the turn of flag bearers, they say flag bearers should pay 400,000 cedis. Where is the connection? Where is the logic? So this is what Ghanaians are asking. These are not questions I am asking. These are questions that Ghanaians are asking. And I believe that the Council of Elders of the party needs to rise up and put their foot down and remind the party that we are a social democratic party with a certain tradition. That tradition came out of a revolution.
It hit me like a thunderbolt when I heard it, because I didn't expect it to be that high for a social democratic political party.
You think it's too high?
Yeah, it's high. I mean, clearly, because previously it was 50,000. And then from 50,000, we are moving to 400,000. That is on the high side, you know. But that notwithstanding.
For you, what would have been an appropriate figure?
Well, even in opposition, I think that 200,000, which would have been about 400% of what existed, what was paid previously, could have been even acceptable. But 800% was, for me, something mind-boggling. It appears in one breath as a deterrent, you know, to prevent others from contesting or throwing in the towel.
So you had Ekos Gabra, who wants to be flag bearer of the party. You had Richard Koshiga, who speaks for Joshua Alabi, who also wants to be flag bearer for the party. The questions are many, but let me welcome my special guest today in the studio here, Johnson Asiedu Nketia. Sir, you're welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
I've heard a lot of people, when you were climbing up, talk a lot about your nice dress. This Agbada, is that what it's called?
Today is a Friday. We have to be in Ghana wear.
Okay.
And today is also the day for the worshipping of the Muslims. Okay. So I mostly put on this type of dressing on Fridays.
On Fridays, okay. Yes. So do you go to worship in the mosque as well?
No, I just solidarize with them.
You just solidarize with them?
Yes.
Okay, so let me congratulate you first of all for your victory. That made you very happy, I'm sure.
Thank you.
What was that? Were you expecting to win with this margin?
Oh, sure.
You were?
I was expecting a higher margin.
You were expecting a higher margin?
Yes.
Oh, okay. So did this disappoint you then?
Oh, not because when you look at the circumstances surrounding it, I would say that it was okay. It
was okay. Okay. Now that you started work, it's like you hit the country with a very big topic for discussion yesterday when you organized that press conference and tried to justify the amounts that you're taking. So first of all, let me ask, you said that you need money, the party needs money to organize the primaries, and that's why you're charging 420,000 of aspirants. Really?
Yes.
People have asked the question, does the party not have any other source of funds?
Unless you tell me, because a party is a social organization which is funded by itself. And so the main sources of party funding ought to be dues paid by its members, other contributions and donations, and fees like this. Besides this, there's no other source of funding for any political party in Ghana.
Okay. So we've opened the phone line. We put out our WhatsApp number for people to ask you questions. We've also put it on our Facebook platform. And the questions are pretty much similar to what I'm going to ask you. So I'm just going to go to our viewers, get them involved in this discussion and take the questions. First of all, let me start with Facebook. On Facebook, Wisdom Abe Dorokpo Samabia says, how on earth does he expect the humble man from Binduri to raise such an amount as filing fee? That's his first question. As the General Secretary, what will he do to help win power from the super incompetent NPP? Above all, he congratulates you. But let's stick with how on earth do you expect the poor man from Binduri to raise that amount? In the meantime, I have similar questions put in a different way on WhatsApp. This one says to ask you, it says to ask Mr. Secretary to come with, okay, I want to take comments that are related to the amount. There was a very wide. He says the filing fee of the NDC should be a concern to all Ghanaians, because if we make a suicidal mistake and vote for the NDC in 2020, they will finish the bones they left Ghanaians in 2016. People are asking, why 420,000? How do you expect? That's the question. How do you expect people to raise that amount?
Thank you very much. First of all, we need to establish some background to this discussion so that the questions can be taken in context.
Okay.
If you are going to undertake an activity, you look at the cost of the activity, and before you begin to figure out how you are going to get the funding for that activity. We are going to do a presidential primaries with the largest ever electoral college or any political party in Ghana. We are talking about the size of close to 300,000 delegates going to be gathered in 275 constituency centers all in one day, engaging in this type of election. That comes along with the cost. Okay? It is the party that established that electoral college, knowing fully well that organizing elections with that type of electoral college will come along with a certain cost. The cost is not determined by the party or the national executive of the party.
But you determined it. You went into...
I'm saying that, well, we did not determine the price of petrol in this country. We don't determine the cost of living. We don't determine the cost of printing in this country.
But you've determined
These are
the
all
amount the flag bearers should
I'm
pay.
saying, I'm talking about cost first.
Okay.
Okay. So the cost is something that is given. It's not determined by anybody in the national executive of the party, nor from the flag bearer or anything. If you need a gallon of petrol to move a vehicle to a place to pick people, you can't park your car at a filling station and say that because I am in NDC, which is a social democratic party, fill my car, I'm not going to pay.
So the point you're making is that times are hard, and that's why you're charging this much?
Precisely. I'm saying that we are beginning from determining the cost before you go to talk about who pays what.
Okay.
Yeah. So the cost of mobilizing close to 300,000 delegates, precisely it will be about 275,000 thereabout delegates at constituency centers.
Okay.
The least you will be spending in this mobilization, just moving them from their places to the constituency centers, will be 3 million.
3 million cedis.
Even if you are very, very prudent, with the most prudent figures.
Okay.
You need to mobilize them to these centers and feed them. If you add feeding, you are getting somewhere beyond 4 million. Then you come to the election. What goes into the election? First of all, we will do printing of ballot papers for the whole country. It comes with a cost. That cost is not determined by the national executive. It is determined by the state of the economy and what they will be charging you. Apart from that, you need to engage the Electoral Commission and pay them for conducting and supervising the election throughout the country. The laws of the country indicates that the elections, internal elections within political parties are by law to be conducted by the Electoral Commission. And yet, the state doesn't seem to find any funding for the Electoral Commission to undertake this activity pro bono. We always have to pay. So paying Electoral Commission to deploy officers throughout the country and in some cases engage people who are not their staff and pay them as the clerks.
That should cost you an estimated what amount?
That one, I'm saying that when you put all these things together, it takes you in the range of close to 8 million or so cedis to organize that election.
Okay, that's
so
plus transportation and food.
Yeah, I'm just giving you estimated figures.
Right.
Yes. So if you are faced with such a challenge and you need to either do the election or if we don't have an option but to do the election.
Okay.
So what you do is that you take the dues that are paid, that is the first source of funding to the party. You look at the dues, how much is available. You look at donations, how much is available. And then you look at what type of fundraising activities you'll be engaging in to be able to raise the money.
So how much is available?
So the fundraising that we have to engage in must be led by all of us. The National Executive Committee members are engaged in our own fundraising to be able to raise money to support. And the candidates who aspire to be future leaders of the party must also play their role in the fundraising activities. That is why we are asking them to raise this money. I don't expect that by any implication, any of them will just draw a check from their on their bank accounts and produce 400,000. But they should be able to raise that money, because any of them who wins becomes the lead fundraiser for the party. And the cost that is ahead, getting into the election, it makes this 400,000 peanuts.
So this is a bit to let each of the aspirants prove their ability to raise funds, not just for their filing fees, but for the party as a whole.
I don't know the difference, but the money is going into the conduct of the election, and that is not going to be an election that will be self-financing.
Is the NDC,
whatever they are able to raise, the national executives will also raise some more money to supplement.
Is the NDC
don't let it appear as if it is the flag bearers who are carrying the total burden of raising funds.
But 400,000. And I have a question here. Someone says to ask you whether to ask you if you know what 400,000 can do. But we'll leave that question for your discretion to answer. But is the NDC so broke that you can't take care of all of these if you don't charge the aspirants 420,000 each?
You see, first of all, we have to understand the questions we ask. When you say broke, what does it mean?
You don't have money. That's what it means.
We don't have money in the coffers. But these are the means of raising money.
No, but hold on. The NDC, so you said you have
We don't have any, what do you call it?
I'm just coming to your words, using your words. You said you have to check how much the party has in terms of dues paid. You have to check how much the party has in terms of donations. How much does the party have? Does the party have money?
I'm sure you are not asking me to disclose the account balances of my party here on
Well, your party
television.
members are listening. Most of them are texting.
That is not why I have come here. But I'm saying that
you don't have
without
money.
this type of raising monies from the flag bearer, chief candidates, and from the National Executive Committee, there is no way we are going to be able to,
organize the primaries, which means the NDC is broke.
That is your word. I haven't said.
Is the NDC broke?
I say I haven't said so.
Okay. So yesterday you announced this. After you made this announcement, there's been a lot of reactions from people. You heard Mr. Richard Kwashiga speak. Yes. He said it was mind-boggling for him. Yes. You heard Mr. Spiogabra speak. Mr. Spiogabra says that this is not representative of a party, a social democratic party, that is saying that it is coming into power to reduce the burden on the Ghanaian people. How do you respond to these? First of all, let me just let you know, they say they're going to, there's the meeting today to petition the party's founder.
Well, they're free to send their petition wherever they want to send it. And I'm sure it will be handled. But you see, listening to the two gentlemen, I was disappointed that none of them appears to be giving us suggestions as to the way forward. Just complain. It's like when you take the Bible and you read Lamentations alone, you just become sorrowful, and that's it.
That's what they're doing?
That, in my view, yes. Because I think that if they had proceeded to read Revelations, then they will reveal to us their new and better ways of funding this,
Are you not mocking their they're raising?
No, they're raising. I'm saying that they are part of the solution, but they present themselves as if they are not part of the solution at all. They are just raising things that concern them, and they are not bringing out suggestions. That is my problem.
They want you to reduce the amount you're charging them.
How am I going to, if the U means General Secretary?
No, not General Secretary.
The National Executive.
Of course.
Okay, the National Executive. How are we going to reduce it? Reducing it cannot happen in a vacuum. First of all, the days where we were having declarations about our flag bearer, you didn't need to bring 275,000 people to decide on anything. But we all said that we didn't like that type of declaration. So everybody must participate. and you must participate. That comes with a cost. You understand?
Okay.
So the shortest and cheapest means of getting a flag bearer is, for instance, for us to go and appeal to our founder and say that, look, this is the party. Look at all of us. Make a choice as to who leads the party. Then that announcement is made. Nobody will spend 1 cedi.
Okay, so the option will be
but when we move from there and said that let us do electoral college. We started with the electoral colleges with smaller sizes. People agitated that we wanted an expanded electoral college. And here we are with an expanded electoral college such that even people at branch level, branch executives, are going to participate. And so it comes with a cost. If anybody could suggest to me that this cost must be borne by A, B, C, and not X, Y, Z, then we are in a discussion, a fruitful discussion. But only coming out to say that the cost is too high, and so we must be mindful of our credentials as a social democrat, that is understandable. All that has been said. So what is the conclusion? Is the conclusion that we must abolish this electoral college and go back to a situation where you don't involve the people in that decision making, so you don't incur this cost. That could be a suggestion. I want to listen.
But isn't that too
somebody.
late? Isn't that too late a suggestion to make at this point?
Then let them tell us what other suggestions are available which are not too late. So we can explore those possibilities and see, because it must not be seen that people who aspire to be flag bearers would want to push the problems on national executive and say, we don't care. Once we are flag bearers, we think this is too high. They are not telling us what is not too high, and they are not suggesting how we are going to we are going to cover the cost.
I'll tell you someone who has suggested what they think is not too high. Richard Koshiga yesterday said about 100,000 or 150,000 is workable. Is
so
okay.
Who pays the rest of the bill? How are we going to get the money to pay?
Well, that's why the party elected a fresh crop of officials,
yes,
like including yourself, to think outside the box, to make money.
This is one of the ways to think outside the box, and it's being challenged. So they should give us another scenario for thinking outside.
Do you not feel that people will begin to say that the party isn't perhaps listening? Is there a way?
Are
you going to reduce this?
We are not listening, my sister. You see, there is a problem which we have opened up that. This is the cost that comes with this decision of the party to expand the electoral college. I'm sure this expansion of electoral college has been debated over and over and over again, even before we went to Kumasi to expand. You understand? At that time, everybody was saying, let's expand, let's expand, let's expand. So are we saying that when we're calling for the expansion, we were oblivious about the cost that comes with that expansion? If we were not conscious about the cost, we are now faced with the repercussions of our decisions as a political party. You understand? So it must not be looked at as if there is a certain crop of callous National Executive Committee members who have decided to impose unreasonable filing fees on people, without regard to social democratic credentials and so on. That is not what it is.
Okay.
What it is that this is a decision we have taken to expand the electoral college. This is the cost that comes along with the expanded electoral college. How are we all, as social democrats, going to bear the cost?
How do you think?
And we have suggested that flag bearership candidates should bear this part of the cost. The National Executive Committee is engaged in some fundraising activities to take up part of the cost. The Council of Elders, whose chairman is the founder of the party, has also established a committee to also engage in some fundraising to all in an effort to meet the cost. So that is it. So if one category of persons are saying that theirs is too high, fine, they should let us go back and engage. They will bring fresh ideas as to how these things ought to be born, and we will all go and implement what
Alban Bagbin, for instance, has said that the party, looks like the party is being sold to the highest bidder. Here is a question that a viewer has just sent. General, is this not a tactic to eliminate more competent aspirants to pave way? He says, I think he's trying to say to make way, and to pave way and make it easier for Mr. he says, Mr. Dead Goat, explain. He's saying, we all know what he means by dead goats. He's referring
Maybe
to,
you know.
Yes. He's referring to this conspiracy theory actually has been out there that the party, that the executive, that the current executives seem to be more positively inclined towards John Mahama, and that this is like this guy is saying, an elimination tactic to remove or to prune down the number to give Mr. Mahama a certain advantage.
Why? If the number gets increased, won't it yield more money for the party? Why do you think that an effort to charge these fees is a means of the party working against its own ability to raise money? I don't agree with them. And there are certain assumptions that have been made, as if, as we sit there as national executive, we are able to access everybody's bank accounts and to know that this is the man who is the richest among the candidates. So therefore, when we put this in there, he will be the person to be able to pay. So let us do it like that. And therefore, he will be the only person to pay. They are all very wrong assumptions.
Why are they wrong assumptions?
Are we in a position? We don't, when they brought their letters of intent, we did not ask them to add their bank balances. And I'm not in a position to determine who is rich and who is not rich.
People have said that it's quite obvious. If you look at Mr. Mahama has been a president before.
It is obvious to
with
you,
organizations
but not obvious to me.
Who may be willing to fund his campaign. So he's more inclined towards getting much more money.
That is your assumption. That is not the assumption we're working on. We are saying that there is a cost to be paid, and that cost must be paid by the party. And the party, the national executive, must lead the way in raising the monies, and we are leading the way. We've indicated our options. Okay. That this is the way to raise the money. If anybody disagrees, let them bring their petitions and let them indicate better ways of raising the money.
So this is not to prune down the number, get some people out to give Mr. John Mahama some sort of advantage in this
I don't
contest.
know whether if you want to be the president of the republic and you are going around promising that you even resource the party. All of them, all the candidates I've heard going around, every one of them is preaching about how to resource the branches, how to give them funds to operate, and so on and so on. Where are the funds going to come from if you cannot raise funds to pay your own filing fee?
That doesn't answer the question.
I am saying that they are indicating
but have you heard this
their resourcefulness, to be able to...
General, have you heard this conspiracy theory going around? And lots of the text messages that I've seen.
I'm happy you are calling it conspiracy.
Yes,
I'm
because,
not a conspirator.
Because like you said, you have not...
I'm not a conspirator. I'm happy you are calling it conspiracy.
No, but these are... okay, so let me just say that people who are texting us, people who are putting messages, and I'll go through the messages and you get to see that a lot of people think that it looks like the crop of executive at the moment, after dancing to Bobole Bobo and the other things that prove that, well, it looks like this crop of executives are more, they are more favorably inclined towards John Mahama, and so this is
talking about speculations. I don't engage.
You're here. Yeah, these are speculations. That's why you're here.
That's why you're talking. I'm saying that I don't. Engage.
But is there any truth to this speculation?
They haven't given us any single scenario to demonstrate the truthfulness of what they are claiming. So why should we proceed to be answering questions based on speculation?
You don't want to answer the question.
I'm saying that what have they said? That seems to suggest that this thing is, the playing field is being skewed towards one person or the other. They haven't said anything. You are alleging that the filing fee is intended to favor President Mahama. And I'm telling you, that is based on the assumption that I, sitting here, know the bank balances of all the other candidates, and I'm able to say that President Mahama has the fattest bank balance, and for which reason, if we raise the filing fee to this level, he will be the only person to be able to pay. I am not in a position to answer those questions, because all the assumptions you are making are things that are based on speculations. First of all, I don't know how the worth of any of the presidential candidates as I sit here. I don't know.
Do you have a favorite?
Why? I will cast my vote.
Who are you voting for?
That is not the purpose of this meeting. The purpose is to discuss how we are going to finance the
party. Do you feel that Mr. Mahama is in a better position to help finance the party?
We will go there. We are not there yet. One of the things that the candidates will be discussing with the delegates is their ability to be able to finance the party. And it is all over. Go to the regions and constituencies and ask them if they can point at one single aspirant who has not promised to finance the party and to resuscitate the branches. And I'm asking, if all of you are promising that you will be able to finance the party better, you will be able to resuscitate the branches, then why are you complaining about your own filing fees?
People have said that the party is on a path to reorganize and to bring unity. That this issue about filing fee has the potential
of bringing this unity.
Exactly.
Why? Because some are being asked to pay 400 and some are being asked not to pay. And for which reason that is going to be a source of disunity. I can't get it.
You don't think this will fuel disunity in the party?
How does a flat fee for everybody...
For example, those who are complaining that it's too much. How does a flat
fee for everybody generate disunity?
Those who are complaining that this is too much to pay. The Alabi camp is not happy. Kospio Gabra is not happy. Alban Bagwin is not happy. They say they are all of them say they're coming together to have a meeting. Is this not a threat to unity?
How does it pose a threat for unity if we are... I'm saying that the way I can see such things, if we graded or we differentiated how much each of them will pay, depending upon what status you have occupied before or not, that is where you can talk about disunity. But when you say we are equal, let us pay equally, how does it bring disunity? I don't understand.
This person says, please ask General how many people they are expecting to pay. And in case only one person pays the said amount, how will the primaries be organized?
I indicated several sources of funding for the primaries. If many people are able to pay, then it makes the burden on the Council of Elders and the National Executive in their fundraising effort lighter. On the other hand, if the number who are able to pay are less, then it makes the burden on the Council of Elders and the National Executive Committee heavier.
Easier. Well, some people have actually also said that this is a way to fuel corruption. They say that if political parties like a major one as NDC is charging flag bearers this much, and they have to, and you're once again attaching that to their ability to raise funds. They go to people and they raise funds. Those people are not Father Christmas. Whatever money they're investing in your candidate, they're going to come back if your candidate wins to demand their pound of flesh afterwards. And that will lead definitely to corruption.
I agree with those who hold that view. And in fact, I'm known to be somebody who has been canvassing that view. And that is the reason why I canvass for state sponsorship of political parties. I did say at many of those fora that funding of political parties by the state should be seen as an anti-corruption tool. Okay? Because the expenses have to be incurred anyway. So somebody must pay for it. So if the state decides that we don't want people who will be ascending to higher office to be burdened with this type of payments. So therefore, let the state pay so that people who come in will not be saddled with expenses. Then it makes the people who then become presidents, freer in terms of obligations for campaign funding and so on. So it's a very valid argument. But to the extent that the state is not paying, somebody has to pay.
Okay.
And what has if somebody has to pay, then it is the members of the party who must pay.
Okay, let me read this to you. This is a press release from the New Patriotic Party. It says, setting the record straight. The statement by the NDC General Secretary Asiedu Nketia that the NPP charged 500,000 cedis from flag bearer aspirants some 4 years ago is untrue and typical of the deliberate lies and propaganda approach of the NDC whenever they want to cover up an unacceptable deed. Yeah. 420,000 for filing fees is unacceptable and can only mean a blatant attempt to skew the primary in favor of a particular person. Never in the history of the NPP has anything close to that amount been charged for primaries or any of our internal elections. And it goes on and on. Let me get your response to that. The NPP says you lied yesterday.
I thank them very much for whatever correction they claim to make. I'm not going to contest them. But let them understand that only a few months ago, a chairmanship candidate alone coughed out 11 million, not cedis, not pesos, but $11 million. And he came out to justify.
In which party?
NPP. NPP, from where this letter is coming from. Freddie Blay, listen. Freddie Blay coughed out $11 million and came
to file?
No, not to file. Not to file. To buy buses, to bribe delegates. It is not even a way of putting money into the party. One candidate coughing $11 million to buy buses, to bribe delegates so they can vote for him.
How do you say he bought buses to bribe delegates?
Why are they bringing themselves into this controversy?
No, we need to settle this. Did you get your figures right? Did you lie? Did you deliberately lie, or did you make a mistake with the figures?
No. Now that they have corrected.
No, where did you get the 500,000 figure from, by the way?
What did they indicate how much they paid?
You said they paid 500,000.
Indicate how much they paid?
It should be noted that on June 6, 2014, this is, and I'm continuing with this release, towards the preparation for the last presidential primaries, the nomination fee approved by the National Council was 10,000 cedis, and the filing fee is 75,000 cedis. Well, so 75,000 cedis plus nomination fee, which was 10,000 cedis. It's not 85. Anywhere. It's not anywhere close.
I'll take their correction. I'll take their correction.
So did you? So as they're saying that this was a deliberate lie you told. Did you deliberately lie?
I'll take their correction, but I'm saying that I know more than they think I know. But I'll take their correction.
No,
this was a figure they announced.
We don't know what you know.
I'm saying that.
What we know is that you mentioned a figure which is turning out to be a lie.
I have said that I will take their correction.
So you lied?
But I know, no. Lying means having something and deliberately telling something that is untrue.
So why did you say 500,000 when you didn't know?
Everybody is capable of making a mistake. You can make a mistake in mentioning figures. I don't have any problem with that. But I'm saying that I know more than they think I know.
So you made a mistake by mentioning the 500,000.
I'm saying that I know more than I know. They think I know about how much they took from their.
They said they took 75,000 cedis.
Well, that is what they announced, but I know more than they think.
But you are admitting that the 500,000 cedi you mentioned was a lie. I mean, was not true.
I am saying that they are correcting it.
Okay.
Untrue figure doesn't automatically mean a lie. If you have figures that are available to you at a certain point in time, and you believe them to be true, it can be corrected.
Where did you get that figure from?
It may be an untrue figure, but that is different from a lie. A lie means that you have figures and you are deliberately distorting the figures. That's why I'm saying that this is coming from their source. I take it that the former figures they announced were this. We take that.
This is what they want to do.
But I'm saying that look, MPP should not be talking about funding of parties and placing themselves on any higher pedestal at all. Because they are chairmanship candidate, not even a flag bearer. A chairmanship candidate came out and bought buses, 300 buses.
Is that justification for?
300 buses. And said he's donating them to the party. The cost was $11 million.
Well, we don't know.
You
if
know
those,
that.
We don't know if all those buses have been bought. We don't know if those.
But
what we know was that some were bought at a point before they went for the election.
So is he
some
telling
were bought,
lies?
But we don't know if all
was
have
he
been
telling
bought.
lies?
But I will tell you what the NPP wants you to do, General.
Listen.
You give me my statement.
Listen. Is he telling lies? Why are you running away from?
I'm not running away from anything at all.
I'm saying that if you are talking about corrupt or inappropriate means of funding campaign, NPP should not be the one talking.
Let me tell you what they want to do. They say we challenge the NDC's General Secretary to prove this allegation or retract.
They are unnecessary diversions, please.
They said they wanted to either prove it or retract and apologize to the NPP and Ghanaians for attempting to justify and rationalize what is obviously an obnoxious way of monetizing internal contests and eliminating
I'm saying that the letter itself, this letter, is not worth the paper on which it is written. Because you see, if you are going to talk about monetization of politics in this country, it shouldn't be coming from a party whose chairmanship candidate paid $11 million in the procurement of buses. Do you know how much $11 million amount to now?
Will you apologize?
550 billion. That is what $11 million stands now.
Will you apologize to the NPP?
This was coming from a chairmanship candidate, not even a flag bearer. Chairmanship candidate. When you call him to justify the source of funding, was he able to justify?
Will you apologize to the NPP as they are demanding in this press release?
Let's make progress.
Will you apologize?
Let us make progress.
You will not apologize.
Let us make progress.
Okay.
Yes.
In making progress, there's still a lot of questions that ought to be answered.
Yes.
So let me just go on Facebook and read through some of the questions. If the questions have been answered, we'll just skip them. And if they have not been answered, we'll allow General Secretary to answer them. This one said, this is a clear indication that some individuals will surely do whatever it means, like we want to say, will use any means to get Mr. Mahama elected. And he says 2020 will decide. Let me go on Facebook. Okay, Joseph Van Amwa says, is the exorbitant filing fee a move to cut back on the number of aspirants, or is it a way the party want to make enough money for the 2020 election? Ask him. You want to move on?
It's been answered.
Okay.
So,
ask him why.
You want us to be repeating what we are
Ask him why he was the only person that sold blocks from his block factory for the Bui Dam project.
That is incorrect. So let's make progress.
That's incorrect.
Yes.
You're not the only one who sold blocks.
I didn't sell blocks to Bui.
You didn't sell blocks to Bui Dam project.
Yes.
Okay. Well, Mr. Brown, he says he did not sell.
It's a lie repeated several times in an effort to make it look like true.
Okay.
That's not true.
Mr. Brown, so he's answered that. He said he did not sell blocks to the Bui Dam project. Asiedu says Johnson is the most reasonable general secretary in Ghanaian politics. The rest are 419 operatives. Okay, I'm sure he's happy to hear that. Joseph Akonenye says, ask him, why did he lie to the whole country that the NPP in 2014 paid 500,000 as filing fees, when in actual fact it was 85,000. Okay, that's also been answered. Whether or not he will apologize, he's not answered that yet. Bambakia Samed says, Abeg, ask him why the NDC leadership has taken this merciless decision to eliminate good people like Atubiga from the flag bearership race by slapping them on the face with 42,000.
The way the person is talking is not, he's talking as if he's not NDC. So what is his problem about NDC filing fees?
He says why? Why don't you
I'm saying that why is he worried about NDC filing? He's saying why is NDC slapping this thing on merciless people like so and so?
But
he's an observer.
How do you know he's an observer?
That is his own statement gives him out.
Well, Bosman Osei says this man told Ghanaians that at their time, that if we don't have work to do, we should go to embassy to collect visa and travel out of the country. Now you wanted to come again. You think, say, okay, I don't understand.
Who said that?
Bosman Osei, the General Secretary said he hasn't made any comments like that.
I don't know who he is alleging.
Right. It's not quite clear to me as well. But Abdul Razak also says...
So then jump over it and... and ask him to make himself clearer.
Abdul Razak says the lies he spewed on a whole press conference about NPP paying 500K as filing fee, no. Where did he get those figures from? The NDC is fraud. and again, people want to find out where you got those figures from. General, do you want to answer? Where did you get those figures
how
from?
Much? How much? We put all our cards on the table publicly. Some decide to collect some monies underground and then publish some figures.
So monies were collected underground.
I'm saying that.
It's still not the official fee like you are charging.
Let us go with the official fee.
No, but it's still not an official fee like you are charging, 400,000.
This is a peripheral part of the
yes,
whole
but
press
if
conference.
you can still,
somebody was asking me whether it is not too much, and I was trying to find out how much is too much.
But you can still, if you're saying,
that should not be the main
General,
issue.
If you're saying that people
discussion.
collected, they wrote 85,000 and collected some money behind the scenes. Well, the same could still apply to the NDC. It doesn't make the 500,000.
We are not going to collect any money.
It doesn't make the 500,000.
We are not going to collect any monies behind the scenes. We are saying these are our cards on the table. Let us go ahead.
Gilbert Kovner says he will cruise NDC to another gargantuan defeat with his arrogance. That's Alote Jacobs. Okay. You want a quick reaction to that? This person is Gilbert. His name is Gilbert. That's what
you are saying Alote Jacobs?
No, he's putting that on. Okay, so there, the screen is there. You can read it for yourself. He's added Alote Jacobs to that. I guess he's quoting.
I'm visually.
You're visually impaired.
I hear one of our flag bearers was claiming that he's visually impaired, so his fees should be brought down.
You heard that?
So if I'm also going to contest, maybe they will decide to bring my fee.
But you only paid, 8,000? You only paid 8,000 to contest your own position.
That was why I didn't go for flag bearership. I went for general secretary.
Okay.
There are different positions.
There are different positions.
Yes.
So 8,000, but 8,000 and 400,000, that's a lot of difference. 420,000 actually, that's a lot of difference.
So you don't know the difference between general secretary and President of the Republic?
I know.
So
but anyway, let me go on with the questions. Ebenezer A.G. Mensah says, what went into the determination of the price of flag bearership? Why the price for male different from females? Who do you support to lead the party? What strategy did you use to win your post? When will you step down from your position? That's a question that's not yet answered. Do you want to respond to that?
I choose not to respond to that. The first ones have been answered. What went into the determination has been answered.
It has.
The rest about...
females are paying less than males.
Yeah, it's positive discrimination.
Okay.
So
to get more females involved.
We always do that when we are paying filing fees and other things. It is an empowerment measure to encourage people with disability and then the vulnerable in society to be able to participate the same way that others. Okay.
Who do you support to lead the party? That's part of the question.
Who do I support to lead the party?
If you had your way.
I support myself.
You support yourself? You want to lead the party? But do you have 420,000 yourself?
Oh, let's wait and see by Tuesday if I'm able to raise it.
Okay. And the final question is, what strategy did you use to win your post? And when will you step down from your position?
There are two questions. Which one is final and which is penultimate?
Both are okay if you answer. It doesn't matter how.
I don't intend to step down from my position. I will discharge my mandate as has been given to me by the party. And the strategy I use is to remain with the masses.
Remain with the masses. I guess what he's trying to say is whether or not you will, after your mandate is over the next 4 years, whether or not you will still want to be General Secretary.
Then he hasn't stated it correctly. He said, when am I stepping down from my position? Stepping down means resigning.
But will you go back after 4 years? Will you contest again?
Nobody knows what will happen in 4 years. So let 4 years come.
Okay. Baba Moro says, why does Asiedu Nketia continue to keep his wife in the cold-ridden country of Canada and sending money from Ghana to her? What is Asiedu Nketia afraid of? Martino Mamidu, over to you.
My wife is permanently in Ghana. He went there a month ago because my daughter had delivered. So,
okay.
Yeah, that's all.
So, but your wife is in Ghana. Okay, yes. Mr. Babamoro, he says that his wife is in Ghana. She went to Canada, but she's back in Ghana. Kwame
no,
Sapong.
she's not back.
Oh,
yet.
she's not back.
She went there.
Okay.
A month ago because our daughter
has delivered. Okay, yeah. Okay, but she's still there because your daughter has delivered. Okay. Yeah. Kwame Sapong Nana says, tell him I want to see him putting on some weight, so we stop calling him Mosquito. Okay. I'm
not called Mosquito because of my size.
Why are you called Mosquito?
Oh, I've come here to do programs to explain.
Mosquito.
To explain why.
I'm sure Kwame wasn't watching.
Oh, okay. Because I was seen by MPP to be what they consider to be a rebel leader.
Okay.
Who would not compromise on wrongdoing. And okay. I go for my target and make sure that I achieve what I wanted to achieve. Okay. And that was on the occasion of seeing to it that a member of their party who had been nominated to be a minister was disqualified, and he was disqualified.
Okay, okay. We'll take more of these messages on WhatsApp and on Facebook. But the CDD has been speaking to our sister station, Adom TV, about the money being taken, the amounts being charged by the NDC. Let's hear them, and then when we come, we'll take General's response to that. We're gradually getting to the end of our conversation.
I think on the face of it is very outrageous and very on the high side when you consider what the NDC is proposing, 400,000 as a filing fee for someone who wants to offer him or herself as a candidate for the party and for the country. I think it's on the high side, especially if you compare what they asked for in 2016 and today. But I think it raises a fundamental question regarding campaign financing, political party financing in Ghana. And I think if we don't sit back and reflect how our political parties are structured and organized and raise money to support their activities, it's going to affect our electoral democracy at the long run. It is not sustainable. It is also creates the perception that only people with the resources and wealth can offer themselves to lead political parties and also to lead the country. Of course, this is a public office holders, and the democracy that we're practicing should allow everybody the equal opportunity to offer him or herself. And so when you look at what the NDC is proposing, I think it is an affront to democracy. It doesn't allow for inclusive electoral politics.
That is Dr. Franklin Odro. He's head of research and programs at the CDD. Mr. Asiedu Nketia, you've heard the concerns that he has. How do you respond to that? You said you're basically cutting out competent people and making it all about money.
It's not all about money. We are trying to meet a cost that should be paid and must be paid by somebody. So if they had suggested innovative ways of parties raising money, I expect that people like that will call on the state to finance political parties so that all these filing fee matters and hula baloo would be a thing of the past, because I have supported them in saying that financing of political parties is a major anti-corruption measure. But there are many people in the press and in the NGO fraternity who think that political parties are organizations that are formed and owned by a certain group of people. So they've had the responsibility of funding them. So if those parties are now asking their own members to fund them, and you still have a problem, then where do you expect the money to be coming from?
Okay. So let me go back to the messages. Osikeni Brakwame says, ask him his biggest regret in politics. Someone said he works at the bank and teaching, so he has more experience. Okay. So let's answer this. What's your biggest regret in politics? Someone wants to know.
I don't have regrets in politics.
No, none at all.
No, because it's by choice. I came in there. I have not been forced into politics. I'm into politics by choice. Okay. So there may be ups and downs in the politics, but I guess it is so with any other engagement.
Okay.
So I haven't regretted being a politician.
I guess you got your answer, Mr. Mustafa, Mr. Osikeni Brakwame. Albert T. Koja says the 400,000 K is not even enough for someone who wants to be president in this country. If you can't stand up to the heat, then you simply get out of the kitchen. General and Co should stand firmly and allow them to pay the money. I'm sure this one will make you smile, General. Barimaya Komia says, what sense is he going to make? Chair, okay, so you're not very much into the conversation. Ibn Abdul Sobo says, after raising his monies to be presidential candidates and after gaining power, then automatically the state owed you a refund. Such a pity for the NDC. I don't quite get you. And the question is, why for 4.2 billion? Pero Akon Kwame, he's answered that. Rich Diamond says, where did he learn how to lie? Is the NDC for sale? That's a question that has come up quite a couple of times. And Koshi Badohu says, Atubiga, Ekiadonko, and Rickett Hagan all want to be president of Ghana. The situation is assuming a comical posture. And I think the need for some weeding out is the motive for the NDC's higher filing fee. The concept is not bad, but I would have done it differently. Ask every presidential aspirant to secure 5% endorsements from party delegates to earn the right to file. This would weed out the jokers without the accusation of monocracy. This doesn't mean that the NDC's modus operandi is wrong. The NDC is not the only route to the presidency of Ghana. If you sincerely believe in the potency of your preposition for this country and you don't have money to operate on the ticket of the NDC, you can go independent. If you have a superior message, you should be able to inspire enthusiasm and support from people who associate with your preposition. If you must manage the resources of Ghana, he continues, you must demonstrate the experience of managing something. Osajifo didn't come into politics as a rich person, and you go on and on and on. But General here has been nodding to your messages. So he seems to be providing you with some ideas as to how to do it. He said, for example, you can allow people to go out, the aspirants to get the right to file by getting a number of candidates, delegates to sign.
So after all that, how do you finance the elections?
Yeah, he's saying that if you want to bring down the number, prune down the number. No,
he's speaking as if the purpose for the filing fee is just to prune down the number. I have told you that it is an effort to be able to meet the minimum cost of getting that elections organized.
Okay.
So you may go and have 100% of endorsement of the delegates.
But
if you
cannot
raise the money to finance the elections, how are you going to hold the elections?
Okay.
You see, so I would be engaging with people who think that maybe the electoral college is too large, and that is why the expenditure is that much. So let's talk about a smaller electoral college or other means of raising money rather than... Then we are engaged in a problem-solving exercise.
Okay.
But lamentation is not a problem-solving exercise. At least it is just one, the first step that things are not right. But beyond that, what else? If you leave your comments at the level of lamentation, you haven't helped the system as a senior member of the party.
It's okay. So beyond that, what else? If you had your way, if you had your way, would you rather change the electoral college system that you have adopted now? Because it seems like it's giving the NDC a couple of problems. First of all, we saw your election. It took way longer than you expected. And now you need more money. I am not by any
way suggesting that the electoral college, the Congress made a mistake by expanding the electoral college. It has its merits. But certainly it also comes with a cost. So we are faced with the cost now. Let us find a way of bearing the cost so we can enjoy the merits of the expanded electoral college. But we cannot eat our cake and have it. We cannot say that we want everybody to participate and then how much it costs to participate, we are not prepared to pay.
Okay.
And yet there is no other means of paying.
Okay.
That is not good problem.
So you can't eat your cake and have it.
Yeah.
Some more questions here on WhatsApp, and then we're wrapping up this conversation. Says, I would like to know from the NDC General Secretary whether it is not a plot to eliminate. Okay, so more of these questions coming up.
Same.
Targeted aspirants who may be. So here's how he puts it. Whether it is not a plot to eliminate some targeted aspirants who may be weak financially, so as to give an advantage to former President Mahama, who is strong financially because of his past remunerations. This is from Kojoa Jemandria in London. He says, please, let General know that the past remuneration for former President Mahama is a clue to his wealth. So,
well, that is his opinion. I don't have that opinion.
You don't subscribe to that opinion.
No.
Okay. Gifty, NDC party is simply money-making party. Mosquito may do whatever he can, but cannot explain this robbery to our satisfaction. This is from Kofi in Kaswa.
Kofi from which party?
Well, you don't need to. Do you need to add your party?
But he says NDC is a money-making party, so it means he's not part of NDC.
What? Do you have to be a part of the party to
No,
comment?
but if he's not part of the NDC, let him leave us to handle our
Okay, so he goes on to say that Asiedu Nketia, please speak like nobody compelled you to do it in his favor, because we know you are doing this to favor Dramani Mahama.
The same person speaking?
Yes.
It is MPP agenda.
It is MPP agenda?
Oh, sure.
Okay, why do you say it's MPP agenda?
Look, while we're going into this, my contest, everybody, they were all serial callers, those who were posting on Facebook, they created the impression that the whole party was against me. You understand? Did the results reflect the type of rhetoric that took place before the election on social media and other things? I did make a point that this is MPP. They fear Asiedu Nketia. And so they would want to weaken the players who are feared in the other team. And that's what they may be doing.
So you believe that there was some kind of NPP propaganda against you in the run-up to the election?
Yeah, everybody saw it, and I complained about it also in the media. So if it is beginning against one candidate or the other, the traits are clear, they are there for everybody.
You think they fear Mr. Mahama? You think the NPP fears Mr. Mahama?
That is what is emerging from the type of singling out of Mahama for attack, even for things he's not responsible for. Because Mahama did not participate in our meetings. We took our decision and have announced it. So for anybody to lift our decisions and put the responsibility of one candidate, it tells you the agenda they want to prosecute.
Okay. Good evening, General. When the economic fundamentals are strong, 420,000 is nothing. Do you agree? This is from A. Jawad in Tiyumba.
I don't agree.
You don't agree?
Not at all.
Okay.
Nobody is saying that 400,000 is nothing. What we are saying is that we need that 400,000 to be able to survive. That is the point that is being made. Nobody is saying that paying 400,000 is cheap. It is not. But that is what the cost of living in the country presents to us. So we must survive. And so we are struggling to survive. That is what it means. Nobody says that economic fundamentals are good, therefore 400,000 is easy to pay. Nobody has said that. But we are saying that this is how much it takes in this harsh economic situation to organize a party election. So if people are not able to pay, it is a poor reflection on the state of the economy.
If people are not able to pay, it is it's a reflection that the state of the economy is poor.
Yes, because everybody knows the cost of fuel. Everybody knows that transportation costs have hiked. The bulk of these monies are going to fund the cost of moving delegates from their houses to constituency centers.
Okay.
And if those amounts were not, if the cost of transportation is low, then definitely the cost of organizing the Congress will be low.
Okay.
So that's it. Nobody should try to take credit for people's ability to pay without problem, and so therefore it's a good economic, what do you call it, indicator. It is not.
Okay.
We are struggling. this payment. All our candidates are complaining, but we are saying that this is how much it will cost for the activity to take place. So unless something else happens, somebody must pay. And that is why we are sharing the cost. Okay. It is not by any means to suggest that the economic situation is good, so people will be able to pay without problem. If they will be able to pay without problem, why are they complaining?
You're still watching my conversation with Johnson Asiedu Nketia, General Secretary of the NDC. I've got a lot of questions, a lot of messages on. We've done a couple on Facebook, but on WhatsApp, you're still sending in lots of those messages. But we've got a few messages, very important messages to play. And we'll come back and wrap up the conversation with Johnson Asiedu Nketia. We'll be right back. Okay, we're here. We're having a date with Johnson Asiedu Nketia, General Secretary of the NDC. We've been talking about 420,000 cedis that they're charging each aspirant for the party's flag bearer position. He said that they need that money, otherwise they can't organize the party's primaries, which is supposed to elect one person to contest President Akufo-Addo in the 2020 elections. Johnson Asiedu Nketia is still here with me in the studio. We're wrapping up this conversation. We'll take our very final bout and then we'll go away. So, Ms. Asiedu Nketia, like I said, the questions are so many. I don't think I can go through it through and through. What is going to happen going forward from today? What's going to happen? Is the party going to sit these aspirants down and have a conversation about the way forward? Is the party going to review the price downwards as they're expecting? What is going to happen?
We are opening nominations on Monday for forms to be picked. And the picking of forms will close on Tuesday, 4 p.m. So those who are interested in contesting will come and pick forms. And then they can go around with the forms and come and file on after 10 days. That is 13th and 14th of December. After the filing, then we prepare them for vetting, and all the other processes will follow till the elections come on the 19th of January 2019. As I sit here, I don't have any petition coming from anybody. So if there is a petition addressed to my office, I'll process it according to our decision-making channels. Okay. And whatever decision come out of it, we will all be bound by it. Okay. But as I sit here,
have you received any petition?
National Executive Committee has decided, and it is the Functional Executive Committee, which I chair, that has the responsibility of implementing the decisions of the National Executive Committee. Okay. So we are proceeding to implement those decisions as have been given to us. Okay. At whatever point any of the decisions change, we will be notified, and then we will adjust to any change of decision. But as it is now, the process will go on.
The process will go on as it is now. Yeah. And if they, after this meeting, if they come with any decision, you're saying that it behoves on the National Executive to decide what to do going forward. But do you get the sense that you are open to reviewing this amount? I mean, is that a possibility?
This is not my decision. Okay. I am saying that I chair the National Secretariat, whose responsibility is to implement decisions that have been taken.
And so that's what
I'm at the level of implementation, and that is what I'm doing.
Okay. Yes. Okay. And were they? Have you received any petitions so far, apart from the complaints that you're hearing in the media?
Not at all. I have had complaints from my colleagues in the flag bearership race. They've called to try to understand certain things. We have explained the decision of NEC. Some aspects have been agreed upon. There are other challenges, and they know what to do if they want to contest any of the decisions of NEC.
Okay. Well, this Gentleman Scott Tafari from Volta region. He says, is the aspirant application fee the only source of funding the activities of the party, why wouldn't they rather allow aspirants to enumerate their sources of funding for the party's activities during vetting, rather than this, what do you call, he's calling elimination tactics?
This one is not going to fund any other party activity besides the election. And it is not the sole source of funding the elections. It is just something that is going to contribute to the funding of the elections. And so let it not be said that we are using this to raise money for other party activities. No. If we have a way of organizing these elections without taking filing fees, we will be glad to do it and everybody will be happy.
Okay.
But unfortunately, both those who disagree with us from within the party and outside the party, nobody has so far suggested any better way of funding these elections.
Okay. This will be my final comments. This one says, he is Emmanuel from Fosu. Says, tell Asiedu Nketia to stop being a hypocrite and apologize. I am so disappointed in him. They create unnecessary tension full of lies. God is watching, he says.
What is the tension about?
I guess he's talking about the amount you mentioned for the NPPs.
Oh, this thing is very trivial. It's not, you know, the main beef of my argument was that if you are comparing and you are saying it is too high, you must let me know what you are comparing with. Because if I stand by you, I may be seen as a tall person. Yet if another person is standing by me, I may still be seen as a short person. So if you are making a blanket statement that it is too high, you must let people know how high is too high.
Okay.
You understand?
All right.
So
all right.
Compared with the cost of running the elections, this is not too
high. You have any final words before you leave us?
My final word is that everybody must get prepared. We have decided that whatever concerns all must be decided by all. At least that was the view that came out of the Congress in Kumasi, which concluded in the expansion of the delegate list. Now we have an expanded electoral college, and we have to live by the implications of an expanded electoral college. I wish everybody well, both the flag bearers and those who are going to cast their ballots. They should look at the interests of the party, look at the capabilities of the candidates available, and cast a wise vote that will win NDC election 2020.
Okay. Actually, people had asked how you intend to win the 2020 elections, but
that's a subject for another day.
Certainly, but I'm sure you have a strategy. Do you?
Oh, why not?
You have a strategy. What is
Even
it?
eating has a strategy. So.
Johnson Asiedu Nketia is General Secretary of the NDC. Mr. Asiedu Nketia, thank you very much for coming.
Thank you.
And so, do you wear this every Friday, you say?
I wear this type, not this
type,
particular thing, but
this
type of dressing
every Friday.
On Fridays.
Would you like to wear red every Friday for the right to information?
It's not about the color.
No, I'm asking for the right to information. We're pushing for the right to information law to be passed.
I have not heard that one.
Yeah, I'm telling you
then
now.
You are not pushing hard enough, because for me not to be aware of this red color plus T-shirts and other things, because I've also been fighting for the passage of the
Oh, really? But your party could not pass it when you were in power.
Oh, you know, we were frustrated. It was one of the laws that we were passing, one of the last laws that we're working on, an MPP.
Why would you even make it a last law? Because you knew you were getting out of power?
There are parliamentary processes.
And who frustrated you?
No, the MPP voted against it. Were you not here? MPP voted against it. And their reason was that they wanted to withdraw it and go and repackage
Look at some aspects.
So it takes them 2 years to repackage a law that was already in the process of being passed. They didn't know what was wrong with it, so that it could be corrected within 2 weeks.
So are you going to wear red every Friday to push
You
add
need to convince me. I don't know whether red alone convinces anybody in MPP to change any decision.
It's to create the awareness.
Well, I wish you well, but I'm not convinced that it will convince anybody in MPP. Once they decide on the wrong thing, they push for it. They don't care what happens.
Mr. Asiedu Nketia, I wish you all the best in your continuing position.
I also wish you well in the campaign.
Johnson Asiedu Nketia there.